Crawford, the Hollywood legend, the steely-eyed actress, the mother from Mommy Dearest. But what if I told you the story of her 4 adopted children is even wilder and more twisted than the infamous wire hanger scene? For decades, Christina Crawford's shocking book, Mommy Dearest, has defined Joan as a child-abusing monster. Those tales of nighttime rages and brutal punishments are seared into our minds. But Joan didn't just adopt Christina. There was Christopher and the twins, Kathy and Cindy. What was their life like inside that glamorous yet terrifying Hollywood mansion? Did they all suffer the same fate? Or did each child live a completely different story under the same roof? Today, we're digging deep into the lives of all 4 Crawford children. This is a story of Hollywood secrets, conflicting realities, and a family legacy that's still debated today. Number 3. Christina Crawford. Born June 11, 1939, she was adopted by Joan Crawford at 11 months old. Right away, there are complexities. Joan, being single, adopted Christina in Nevada because California law made it difficult. And then there are the persistent rumors of a black market baby ring connection. While details about Christina's adoption are murky, Joan's later adoption of the twins, Kathy and Cindy, was through Georgia Tann's Tennessee Children's Home Society, an outfit known for essentially selling children to the rich and famous. It shows how desperate Joan was to build her family, no matter the cost. Christina has said her very early years with Joan were actually happy, but this alleged happiness was short-lived. She claims that after Joan's marriage to Philip Terry ended, the home environment became a pressure cooker of impossible chores and constant fear of waking Joan. This is when Christina says the night raids started, terrifying outbursts of rage and punishment. The most famous, of course, is the no wire hangers ever incident. Imagine a child being terrified by something so ordinary. Around the time Joan adopted the twins, Kathy and Cindy, 9-year-old Christina, was sent off to Chadwick, a posh boarding school, but Christina described it as a place of deprivation, claiming Joan only gave her 2 dresses and a single pair of shoes for an entire semester. A minor incident with a boy got her yanked from Chadwick and sent to a Catholic boarding school. This pattern of initial affection, followed by iron-fisted control and unpredictable cruelty, laid the groundwork for her shocking memoir. Mommy Dearest landed in 1978, a year after Joan's death, and it was a cultural atom bomb. It stayed on the New York Times bestseller list for 42 weeks. Christina was no longer just Joan Crawford's daughter. She was the woman who pulled back the curtain on a Hollywood horror show. The book's core allegations were deeply disturbing. The infamous no-wire hangers ever rage, forcing Christina to scrub floors in the middle of the night. Joan allegedly destroying her own rose garden in a fit of anger, cutting off Christina's hair for playing with makeup. Christina even claimed Joan slapped and choked her during a reporter's visit after Christina mentioned Joan's alcoholism. She suggested the adoptions were largely PR stunts. Christina portrayed Joan as obsessed with her career, controlling and prone to jealous rages. It was an unprecedented expose by a celebrity child. And the timing, Joan had just died, and Christina and her brother Christopher had been dramatically cut out of Joan's $2 million will, left nothing for reasons which are known to them. Many cried revenge, a cash grab. Christina insisted it was about child abuse awareness and survival. The public was split. Joan's friends defended her, painting Christina as a liar. But the book resonated. Christina later released a 20th anniversary edition with even more material. Then came the 1981 movie starring Faye Dunaway. Christina hated it, calling it grotesque. She felt it sensationalized her story and turned her mother into a caricature, missing the point of the child's suffering. Ironically, the film became a camp classic. Its most horrifying scenes often played for laughs. No wire hangers ever became a pop culture punchline. Before Mommy Dearest, Christina was an actress, appearing in films and TV, including The Secret Storm. In a bizarre twist, when Christina fell ill, Joan herself stepped in to play her much younger daughter's role on the soap. After the memoir, Christina wrote more books, like Survivor and No Safe Place, The Legacy of Family Violence. She became a fierce advocate for abuse survivors and adoption reform, even serving as a Los Angeles County Commissioner for Children's Services. Her personal life saw a near-fatal stroke in 1981 and 3 marriages. She later moved to Idaho, ran a B&B, and continued her advocacy. She's always maintained that Joan never took responsibility, so forgiveness wasn't possible. Number 2. Christopher Crawford, born Philip Terry Jr. In 1943, Joan renamed him after her divorce from actor Philip Terry. Like Christina, Christopher was completely disinherited. Christina always said he backed her story. His own youth was troubled. He reportedly ran away multiple times, and at 15, even shot out streetlights with an air rifle. He served in Vietnam, then lived a mostly private life. Joan apparently rejected him when he visited with his wife and child after his military service. His most poignant quote about Joan: "I honestly to this day do not believe that she ever cared for me." That says so much. He died of cancer in 2006. His quiet corroboration of Christina's account is significant. Interestingly, before this Christopher, Joan had adopted another baby boy in 1941, also named Christopher. That child was reclaimed by his birth mother, leaving Joan devastated. Adopting another boy soon after and giving him the same name might have carried its own complicated emotional weight. His adoption, too, like Christina's, was rumored to be through a baby broker. Christina described Christopher's childhood as equally harsh. He first ran away at 7. By 10, he'd survived for a week sleeping under the Santa Monica Pier. He was expelled from multiple schools. Both Christina and Christopher talked about Joan strapping him into his bed nightly with a restraining device until he was 12. Another horrific allegation involved Joan forcing a young Christopher to hold his hand in a fireplace for playing with matches. His last reported encounter with Joan was around 1961. He was married with a baby. Joan allegedly dismissed her grandchild as probably a bastard. A final painful phone call involved Joan refusing to help when Christopher's own daughter was critically ill, supposedly saying, "She's not my granddaughter. You were adopted." Though he didn't write a book, his few reported statements were damning. He reportedly received a small sum from Christina for the use of his name in her book and the subsequent film. After the Army, he worked as an electrical lineman and lived mainly in Greenport, New York. He even had a very short acting stint in Australian TV. He married twice and had children, though his relationship with his children from his first marriage reportedly became strained. The 20th anniversary edition of Mommy Dearest reportedly included claims that Joan ignored him even when he was MIA in Vietnam, and that he later deserted his second wife and all his children, though these latter claims are difficult to verify. Number 1. Kathy and Cindy Crawford. Now, let's talk about the twins, Catherine, Kathy, and Cynthia, Cindy. Joan adopted them in 1947. Their biological mother in Tennessee died shortly after their birth. Crucially, their adoption was facilitated by Georgia Tann and the Tennessee Children's Home Society, a notorious black market baby operation. This means the twins' entry into Joan's life was tainted by a deeply corrupt system. Kathy and Cindy painted a completely different picture of Joan. They always insisted she was a loving, devoted, if strict mother. They said they never saw any of the abuse Christina described. Kathy famously stated, "Our mommy was the best mother anyone ever had," and that Christina had her own reality. Cindy backed this up, saying her worst punishment was eating cold dinner for breakfast, and that she never saw her mother drunk. Christina argued the twins were too young, 8 years her junior, and weren't around during the worst of what she and Christopher endured. The relationship between Christina and the twins was openly hostile. In 1998, Kathy Lalonde sued Christina for defamation after Christina allegedly claimed on a book tour that the twins weren't biological sisters and their adoption was illegal. The case settled out of court. Kathy Lalonde passed away from lung cancer in 2020. She'd attended the Fashion Institute of Technology, designed her own wedding dress when she married Jerome Lalonde. They later divorced and had 2 children, Carla and Casey. She even reconnected with her biological family in Tennessee in the 90s. She consistently defended Joan, contributing to biographies that aim to counter Mommy Dearest. Her son, Casey, appears to continue this mission. Cynthia, Cindy, Crawford, Jordan died in 2007, awaiting a liver transplant. She, too, consistently defended Joan, calling her very caring and loving. The radically different stories from the siblings are the crux of the Crawford mystery. Did Joan treat her older adopted children, acquired through different, perhaps more ethically gray means, differently than the younger twins, who came as a pair from the infamous Georgia Tan, the unsettled dust of a Hollywood legend? Joan Crawford's will, cutting out Christina and Christopher, was a final, brutal public statement. Their legal challenge, alleging Joan was an alcoholic and unduly influenced by Kathy, just brought more private pain into the public eye. They settled for $27,500 each, while Kathy and Cindy each received $77,500, plus Joan's personal belongings, including her Oscar. Many of Joan's Hollywood peers defended her, finding Christina's account unbelievable or exaggerated. But Mommy Dearest, both the book and the film, undeniably reshaped Joan Crawford's legacy. For many, she's forever the Mommy Dearest of the wire hangers, a symbol of monstrous motherhood. The Georgia Tan connection casts another dark shadow, suggesting the very foundation of Joan's family was in part built on exploitation. Christina Crawford channeled her trauma into advocacy. Christopher lived with the pain of feeling unloved. Kathy and Cindy spent their lives upholding a different truth. 4 children, one larger-than-life mother, and a story that continues to provoke and disturb. Was Joan Crawford a victim of a vindictive daughter, a deeply flawed but loving mother, or something far more sinister? The truth, as always, is likely buried somewhere in the conflicting memories and painful secrets of a family torn apart by fame and alleged abuse.